Today, we're diving deep into WD-40, the miracle spray that everyone thinks they know how to use. In the next few minutes, I'll show you 11 genius ways to use WD-40 that could prevent expensive repairs, plus 3 places you should never spray it. Use number 1, detecting vacuum leaks like a pro mechanic. Your engine's been acting weird lately, rough idle at red lights, poor gas mileage, maybe even throwing random check engine codes. Most drivers head straight to the shop and get hit with a $150 diagnostic fee. But here's a trick that could save you that money and catch problems before they become expensive disasters. Here's the secret most mechanics don't advertise. Grab your WD-40 and spray it around vacuum hoses while your engine's running. If there's a leak anywhere in that system, the WD-40 gets sucked right in and temporarily plugs the gap. Your idle will change instantly. That's your leak talking. This isn't just about saving diagnostic fees. Vacuum leaks mess with your air-fuel ratio, killing your gas mileage and potentially causing engine damage that could cost thousands down the road. The beauty of this method? Unlike carburetor cleaner, WD-40 won't turn your engine bay into a fire hazard, and it's safe around all those plastic sensors and delicate components packed under your hood. Even legendary mechanic Scotty Kilmer swears by this technique. He's been using it for decades because it works every single time. Use number 2, protecting electrical connections from corrosion. Electrical problems are sneaky little demons. Everything works fine one day. Then suddenly sensors start misfiring, and before you know it, you're staring at a $700 quote to replace a corroded ECU connector. The frustrating part? The root cause is usually just moisture slowly working its way into electrical contacts over months or years. Here's where WD-40's origin story becomes your saving grace. This stuff was literally designed to displace water. That's what the WD stands for. A light spray on clean, disconnected terminals creates an invisible moisture barrier that stops corrosion before it even thinks about starting. We're talking about potentially saving over $1,000 in wiring harness replacements with a $6 can of spray. Now here's a pro tip that could make all the difference. Standard WD-40 works great for most situations, but if you're dealing with sensitive electronics or want that zero residue finish, upgrade to WD-40 Specialist Contact Cleaner. This stuff evaporates fast, leaves absolutely no film behind, and provides long-term protection without any buildup that could cause problems later. Use number 3, preserving weather stripping before it fails. Ever tried opening your car door on a cold winter morning and felt like it was glued shut? That resistance you feel isn't just the cold, it's your weather stripping slowly breaking down. And when those seals fail, you're not just dealing with annoying door sticking. Water starts seeping into your cabin, soaking carpets, creating mold problems, and potentially reaching electrical components. We've seen repair bills hit $2,000 when water damage spreads to wiring systems. Here's the crucial detail most people miss. You absolutely cannot use standard WD-40 on rubber seals. The regular formula contains petroleum compounds that actually eat away at rubber over time, making the problem worse. What you need is WD-40 Specialist Silicone Spray. This version is specifically engineered to keep rubber seals soft, flexible, and water-resistant. The application is simple but important. Spray it on clean rubber every few months, but don't just walk away. Wipe off the excess with a clean cloth. That thin protective layer is all you need to keep water out and prevent that annoying cold weather sticking. When your cabin stays quiet, sealed, and mold-free, you've already prevented hundreds of dollars in hidden damage. Use number 4, removing tree sap without destroying your paint. You've probably seen it happen. A sticky blob appears on your car that seems impossible to remove. A few weeks later, the paint underneath looks dull or even discolored. That's tree sap, and it's not just annoying cosmetic damage. It's literally chemically eating through your clear coat layer by layer. This is where WD-40 quietly proves its worth as a paint-safe solvent. Its carefully balanced formula helps soften even the most hardened sap without the aggressive scrubbing that damages clear coat. The technique is straightforward but requires patience. Work on a cool surface, apply a few sprays directly onto the sap, and let it sit for a minute or two. Then wipe gently with a microfiber cloth. Here's the critical follow-up step that many people skip. Always wash the treated area afterward to remove any oily residue. And never let WD-40 sit too long under direct sunlight, where it can bake onto the surface. Follow this method correctly, and you just avoided a $500 polishing job, or potentially a $2,000 repaint if the damage had been allowed to spread. Use number 5, restoring faded license plates in seconds. This might seem trivial, but hear me out. When did you last really look at your license plate? Between UV rays, road salt, and years of accumulated grime, those plates fade faster than most people realize. In some states, an unreadable plate can actually result in a traffic citation. We're talking about a $50 fine for something you probably never thought about. WD-40 works surprisingly well here because it lifts built-up dirt, grease, and even surface rust from the plate edges. That dull, gray metal can go back to looking sharp and roadworthy in under a minute. No sanding, no repainting, no expensive replacement. Just a quick wipe down and you're legal again. For best results, remove the plate entirely if possible. Give it a preliminary cleaning with warm water and dish soap to get the heavy grime off. Then finish with WD-40 and a microfiber cloth. Just manage your expectations. This is a cosmetic touch-up, not a complete restoration. You won't get back that factory reflective shine, but for the price of a sandwich, it's one of the fastest ways to make your car look more presentable and avoid an unexpected fine. Use number 6, penetrating rusted bolts without breaking them. There's no sound quite like a wrench slipping on a rusted bolt to ruin your entire day. And if you've ever snapped one mid-repair, you know it goes from frustrating to expensive real fast. Broken bolts mean drilling, tapping, possibly even welding. Suddenly your simple maintenance job becomes a major headache. WD-40 Specialist Penetrant is specifically engineered for this exact scenario. Unlike the original formula, this version uses capillary action to slide deep into tight threads and rusted seams, breaking down corrosion from the inside out. In controlled laboratory tests, bolts that required over 500 foot-pounds of torque to loosen when dry dropped to just 238 foot-pounds after treatment. That's real, measurable pressure relief for your tools and your patience. The technique matters here. Clean the area first to remove surface dirt and debris. Apply the penetrant spray, then try loosening within just a few minutes. Some DIYers think letting it soak longer is better, but this particular formula actually works most effectively when you act quickly before it has a chance to evaporate. Sure, there are cheaper penetrating oils out there and some more aggressive chemical options, but for most stuck bolts on everyday vehicles, this gets the job done cleanly without resorting to heat guns or risking broken knuckles. Use number 7, cleaning and shining chrome without the hassle. Chrome maintenance is usually either a 3-hour polishing marathon or a shortcut that leaves you disappointed. But there's a middle ground that most car enthusiasts overlook, and it involves that same can of WD-40 sitting in your garage. Thanks to its carefully blended combination of mineral spirits and lubricating oils, WD-40 cuts through road grime, water spots, and even stubborn tar deposits on chrome surfaces. The process is refreshingly simple. Spray it on, wipe it off with a microfiber cloth, and for really tough spots, pair it with 0000 grade steel wool for gentle abrasion. Here's something that might surprise you. Despite various claims you might read online, WD-40 doesn't contain acids, making it completely safe on chrome surfaces. In fact, it actually adds a thin protective layer that repels water and helps delay future rust formation. Many motorcycle riders use this technique every few months to keep their chrome rims and engine guards looking showroom fresh. For just a few dollars per can, it beats expensive chrome polishes hands down and cuts your cleaning time dramatically without sacrificing that mirror-like shine you're after. Use number 8, bringing moisture-damaged engines back to life. There's a moment that makes every driver's heart sink. You turn the key after driving through a storm, hitting a deep puddle, or maybe getting a little too enthusiastic with the pressure washer, and your engine either misfires badly or doesn't start at all. Moisture has found its way into your ignition system, and suddenly nothing's firing correctly. This is where WD-40's original water displacement purpose becomes absolutely crucial. When you spray it on wet spark plugs, distributor caps, or soaked electrical connectors, it literally pushes the moisture out while laying down a rust-inhibiting protective layer. The transformation can be dramatic. You'll often hear the difference in how your engine runs before you even feel the improved performance. Safety first. Always disconnect your battery before spraying anything electrical, and make sure your engine has cooled down completely. Once everything's dry, reconnect your battery and fire it up. WD-40 isn't going to fix serious flood damage. That requires professional attention. But for light moisture exposure or minor water intrusion, it's absolutely a garage hero that can save you from expensive towing bills and diagnostic fees. Mistake number 1. Using WD-40 as a magic paint scratch remover. You've probably seen this trick making the rounds on social media. Spray a little WD-40 on a car scratch and boom, it vanishes like magic. At first glance, it actually looks like it works. That oily sheen fills in the scratch just enough to make it disappear under the right lighting conditions. I totally get the appeal. It seems like a brilliant $6 solution when you don't want to stare at clear coat damage every time you walk past your car. But here's the harsh reality. WD-40 doesn't actually remove scratches. It just masks them temporarily with an oily film. Worse than that cosmetic deception, it leaves behind a greasy residue that acts like a magnet for dust, dirt, and grime. Over time, this buildup doesn't just look bad. It can actually wear down your clear coat, dull your paint's finish, and even lead to permanent discoloration. We've seen cases where people ended up needing complete panel repaints, with costs ranging anywhere from $300 for a small area to over $3,000 for extensive damage. The irony is devastating. Trying to save money on a minor scratch ends up causing major paint damage. Do this instead. Invest in a proper scratch repair kit from trusted brands like Meguiar's or Turtle Wax. These products are specifically engineered for paint correction, not temporary illusion. And if the scratch catches your fingernail when you run it across the surface, call a professional before attempting any DIY fixes. WD-40 excels at many automotive tasks, but using it as a magical paint fixer is one shortcut that backfires spectacularly. Mistake number 2, pouring WD-40 into your engine as motor oil. This might sound absolutely insane, but people actually do this. The logic seems reasonable at first glance. WD-40 is slick, it prevents rust, and it's already saved the money on stuck bolts and squeaky hinges. Why not use it as cheap engine oil? Here's the critical difference that destroys engines. WD-40 is a solvent, not a lubricant. Real engine oil isn't just about making parts slippery. It's a complex fluid that manages extreme heat, protects against metal on metal where under tremendous pressure, and suspends harmful contaminants to keep them from causing damage. WD-40 fails catastrophically at every single one of these jobs. It evaporates quickly under heat, offers zero thermal stability, and was never designed to function under the high-pressure, high-temperature conditions inside a running engine. Use it as motor oil, and you're looking at bearing failure, piston seizure, complete engine lockup, or even catastrophic internal damage. Even more dangerous, WD-40 is highly flammable inside a hot engine environment. This isn't just a performance risk. It's a legitimate safety hazard that could result in engine fires. The repair costs for this mistake are absolutely brutal. Anywhere from $3,000 for minor bearing damage to over $10,000 for complete engine replacement, depending on how quickly the damage spreads and how long the engine was run with WD-40 instead of proper oil. Mistake number 3, spraying WD-40 on your brakes, the most dangerous error. Someone on Reddit once joked, "I got WD-40 all over my disc brakes, and now when I brake, I go faster." It's hilarious until you realize how genuinely dangerous this scenario actually is. Look, I completely understand the temptation. Brakes squeal, rotors develop surface rust, And when you've got a $6 can of WD-40 sitting right there, it's natural to think it might solve the problem. But here's what makes this so catastrophically wrong. WD-40 is a lubricant, and your entire brake system depends on friction to function. Spray WD-40 on your rotors or brake pads, and you're literally reducing your vehicle's ability to stop. But the damage doesn't end there. That slippery residue soaks deep into your brake pad material, contaminating it permanently. Even worse, WD-40 can deteriorate the rubber seals in your brake calipers and brake lines, potentially leading to fluid leaks, complete system failure, or total brake loss while driving. The financial damage is severe. Expect to pay $250 to $500 per axle just for new pads and rotors. If you've damaged the calipers or brake lines, you're looking at over $1,000 in repairs. But honestly, the potential cost and safety is immeasurable. Here's what you should do instead. Grab a dedicated brake cleaner. Ironically, WD-40 actually makes their own specialist brake and parts cleaner that's specifically designed for this application. It cleans effectively and evaporates completely, leaving no residue that could interfere with braking performance. If there's one golden rule to remember from this entire video, it's this: never, ever spray WD-40 on components that rely on friction, precise heat sensing, or exact calibration. This includes brake rotors, oxygen sensors, clutch components, and precision electronic sensors. What fixes an annoying squeak in one area can create absolute chaos in another. Use WD-40 intelligently, and that humble $6 can become one of the most valuable tools in your automotive arsenal. Use it carelessly, and you could be facing repair bills that reach into the thousands. If this video just saved you from making a costly mistake, smash that subscribe button. We drop money-saving automotive tips and mechanic secrets every single week. And I'm genuinely curious. Drop a comment below and tell me your best WD-40 success story, or if you're brave enough, your worst WD-40 disaster. Next week, we're pulling back the curtain on 15 of the shadiest tricks that some mechanics still use to pad their bills and overcharge unsuspecting customers. Trust me, you absolutely do not want to miss that one. It could save you serious money the next time you need professional work done.